Hey guys, today I'm going to do a towing video with the Tundra. That's our Jeep. It's got some electrical issues, like the blinker doesn't work, so among other things, so it's not really legal to drive, so we're towing it to my friend. I'm not great with electrical, so as you can see, it's already tied down. I filled this truck up with gas, so we're going to do a towing fuel economy and a towing video today. So stay tuned. Hey guys, before we begin this towing video, I do have to admit that because of my being new at video camera and vlogging in general, some of the footage of this towing video kind of got messed up, as in it's probably my fault in some way, shape, or form, but I do have enough footage to do the video, and at the end, I will kind of give my score of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with how to do the trailer brake controller, which was kind of after I dropped the load off, but I figured I'd put it first. And then I'll play the clips that work, and then I'll kind of go over it again as kind of like a synopsis and give a score of how I thought the truck did compared to other 1500 series trucks I've had in the past. Alright guys, we're going to be merging on to one of the expressways, so I'm going to tell you how well this thing merges compared to what I've towed it with before. And we can't really get the speed out, and I don't want to hold the camera while driving, so right now we're above 60, and it's still accelerating, and we're going to be doing the speed limit of 70, which we are at right now. So we are on our journey to get the Jeep fixed, and it'll be fixed. The ride is very stable, it's not bouncy. I'm very impressed with it. This is the third time I've towed with it. The other two times I really couldn't record it due to company policy on one, and then I just didn't have the camera for the other. But this is the second heaviest weight I've towed with this truck. We're at about 6,000 pounds with Jeep and trailer. If you want to combine the truck weight with the Jeep and trailer, I'm driving about 11,000 pounds right now, so about 5.5 tons in total with truck, Jeep, and trailer. So if there's any 5-ton max bridges out there, I can't go over them, but I don't think we're going to hit any of those today. This truck is holding 70. In fact, if I wanted to, I could put the cruise on. There's a Jeep back there. Nice, it's tied down. Hanging in there. Alright, we are approaching well, you can see it in the distance. It's not really a big grade, but I wish we were coming the other way because that grade's bigger, because we're going to go up this little hill up here, and it's going to have a nice downslope to it, and then we're going to have another hill after that. But this particular route doesn't have any hills, but what I can tell you is this truck does amazing. I actually have to downshift it because it'll tow up it in 5th gear. I don't think towing on an overdrive gear is good, but it will do it. So I sometimes will shift it to 4th just because I don't want to damage anything. I don't think it will. It's just peace of mind. But right now, we're in tow haul mode, and it's actually in 5th gear right now. Approaching that hill in a second. Still in 5th, we're at 2100 RPMs. 2200 now. And then it just dropped to 6. Tow haul mode still. I'm not shutting tow haul mode off, but we're at 1900 RPMs. It's staying at 70 really well. That's the speed limit. Straps are still tight. Hitting the hill. It's still still holding. Dropped to 5th. It's still holding. It is climbing a little bit in 5th, and we're probably going to climb. I don't like going up hills in overdrive, so I'm going to give it more gas, so it downshift, which it did. It would have made this up in 5th gear, but I don't like going up hills in overdrive gear. So on 4th, it's actually kind of accelerating more than I want to, but we're going to hold it, see if we can hold it in 4th. If I have to use the manual mode, I will. It's going up the hill. We're at 75 at 3,000 RPMs in 4th. No problems going up this hill. I went up a bigger hill towing a Dodge Dakota the other day, closer to 7,000 pound load, and it was much steeper than this, probably about, and it did well, really well. It also wanted to climb in 5th, which I didn't like. I never did like climbing in overdrive. I think it's too much for the overdrive gear. 5th and 6th are overdrives in this truck. So I'm keeping it at 4th. I'm going 5 over what I want to, just so it stays in 4th gear. Alright, we're at the top, so we're going to slow it down. Let it drop to 70. So this truck has a lot of power. We're back in 5th gear now. So tons of power for this load, and even for the load I took before that. So this Tundra has a max load of 9,900, max towing of 9,900 pounds, 10,000 pounds. I think it'll handle it. It's doing really, really well. Alright guys, sorry about the sun glare there. Let's see if we can stop that. Alright, so basically we're going to do a little score system here. A little different from how TFL truck does it for those that watch that. I'm going to do a 1 out of 10, 1 obviously being bad, 10 obviously being really, really good. So I'm going to try to find, and then there's some categories like as far as stability and handling of the truck with the trailer that I might have to grasp at straws to find things wrong with it. This truck did really well. So let's start off with stability and handling. I thought with this load, first off, the load, the Jeep and the trailer, if you add both the weights together, and I have the titles for both, the Jeep's about 3,700 pounds, and the trailer is around 1,900, 2,000 pounds, give or take. So it's about 5,800 pounds. So if you we'll just round it up and say 6,000 pounds. So we'll do it like that. So for stability, handling, and then as far as hooking up and, comfort of towing, I'm going to give that a 9 out of 10. I thought the truck did really well. It didn't really squat a lot. It was level, and I was really happy with it. I didn't really have to adjust the Jeep on the trailer any bit to get it to tow better, and it was really, really awesome. Past trucks I might have had to, especially the Ram 1500 I had, because those had coils, but that's just a different suspension. The drive, while driving with it, going over bumps, you know how the back of the trailer would just make the back end of the truck bounce every time you went over a bump? It was there, but it wasn't as, it wasn't as noticeable as past trucks. In fact, it was almost not noticeable at all. It was very comfortable, and that's contributing to the high score I give this truck. Stability, the truck was straightforward, didn't need to overcorrect or anything. There was no sway. Overall, yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, there's some nitpicky stuff that made it a 9, but they're really, really small. Like mirrors. I wish I had tow mirrors. I'm adding that to the score. I guess I should have said visibility too. So basically, this is a visibility, stability, and handling part of this. The mirrors, they work. They're okay. I just wish there were tow mirrors on here that came with the truck. It was hard for Toyota to find one, so I just said don't worry about it at this point. Because at the moment, I'm just towing a flatbed, you know, which is 7 foot wide, which isn't, it doesn't really matter. The mirrors are big enough, but tow mirrors. Wish they had them. Now let's go to the next subject. We'll go to power. Power, I'm going to give a 10 out of 10. Here is why. I have, as you've heard in the clip, it was holding the speed limit of 70 miles an hour, towing 6,000 pounds up a grade in 5th gear. That's an overdrive gear. And in fact, it was climbing a little bit in the overdrive gear. The only reason I didn't leave it in overdrive was because I was afraid it was bad on that gear, and I would rather do it on more of a, like, 4th gear. That's direct drive. It's more meant for that kind of thing, I would think. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it's a good idea to maintain speed or accelerate towing a load in 5th gear. And yes, tow haul mode was on for the entire trip. The truck just impressed me power-wise. I've never had a truck do that. That's a gas engine, like a gas engine half-ton. Never had a truck want to pull an overdrive before. So, Toyota, big props in the powertrain. It impressed me a lot. And it still impresses me to this day whenever I tow something, especially, and I'll put a picture of it at the end of the video. I towed a Dakota, which was heavier. That was closer to a 7,000 pound load on the flatbed. Well, trailer and Dodge Dakota. And it did really well there too. But it just impressed me at how it would it acted like it wanted to pull in 5th gear. It, you know, wouldn't downshift. I actually had to give it more pedal than I needed to. So, A+ on power, 10 out of 10. Fuel economy. Now, everywhere you go, every video you watch, there is always people ragging on the unloaded fuel economy of Toyota. And I will admit, it is low. I am only getting like 15 miles per gallon mixed. Maybe 16. And at worst, 14.8, I think it was. But, you know, we'll just say 15, 16. But towing, this truck actually got my best fuel economy. And I would have had the numbers in the receipt, but I lost that footage because it's, you know, I'm an idiot. But basically, I calculated it, and I got 10.8 miles per gallon towing, which is really good. The Hemi only got like 9.5 to 10. The Chevy V8 I was towing with for a company truck a couple years back was a 5.3. It got low 10s. And the 5-liter Ford, this one didn't have the 10-speed. And it was a friend's, and he let me tow with it. And I think that was kind of where the Chevy was. The thing with the Chevy, though, it was always in a low gear, really low gear. It seemed to always be at 4,500, 5,000 something RPMs all the time, any little grade. That's more of it seems like it's more of a fuel economy motor, or it was just geared too high. I think that was the problem with the 5.3. I think if it was geared better, it probably would have got better mileage. But at the same thing, 5.3 gets probably the best unloaded mileage for a half-ton truck. But for fuel economy, I'm gonna give that a 7 out of 8. 8 out of 10. Sorry. Wow. It probably could do better. Especially since I wasn't using that much RPMs. I think the highest I went to was 3,000 or something. You know, I think I could probably get 11, maybe 11.5 out of it. But it did get the best towing fuel economy out of any truck I've towed with at a 5,000 pound trailer or higher. So it's got that going for it. 8 out of 10. Now this is going to be a separate category, braking. The Tundra brakes are really good, but the brake controller, this guy right here, this brake controller, it works. I'm not going to replace it. It does its job, and I like how it interfaces with the screen here, which I have off. I don't want to turn the truck on or anything right now because the radio will come on. But it needs more gain than what I'm used to. When I worked at a job, they had Prodigy trailer brake controllers. They're aftermarket that they installed in trucks for those that didn't have them, like that Chevy. And that Prodigy was probably one of the best trailer brake controllers that I've used. I had it in the 2500 I leased as well. No. Was it 20? I can't remember 25. I can't remember which truck I had where I had my own truck, which Prodigy, but that Prodigy brake controller was really good. And the Ram 1500 I had, the built-in one, didn't need a lot of gain either, but it wasn't as good as the Prodigy. But this Tundra one, whether you set it for 0 to 4,000 pounds or 5,000 to 10,000 pounds, it needs a lot of gain to get to where you want it to be when you pull a trailer. It did the job. I'm not going to replace it. I'm going to keep it stock, but I think Toyota could do a better job on that trailer brake controller, so I'm unfortunately going to have to give the brake controller... The brake controller pretty much killed this score. I'm going to have to give it a 5 out of 10. It does the job. It's safe. It doesn't overburden the truck brakes, but I just think it's too high of a gain, and I've dealt with better ones. So it's getting a 5 out of 10 score. So overall, very happy with the truck. I was expecting to have scores lower, or, based on what I've heard. But no, it did a really good job, and I was really impressed with it. So, if any of you are out there looking for a Tundra, and you're wondering how well it will tow like 5,000 to 7,000 pounds, which I've done with it so far, it does a really good job. Now, keep in mind, I am at 0 to I want to say right now in Kansas City, I'm at 200 to 1,200 feet above sea level. So if you live in Colorado like the guys at TFL do, when they do their video reviews, you're going to get different results. Or if you're on the shoreline, you're going to get better results than I do. It's just how it is. It's a naturally aspirated V8. I think it's like, 3,000 feet above sea level, you lose some engine power because the air is more dense. But, yeah, as far as... for where I'm at, and even if I go to Pennsylvania, if I tow something through Pennsylvania to my family in Connecticut, I think the highest elevation on Interstate 80 is 3,000 feet east of the Mississippi, so I'm pretty sure the Tundra will still do very good there. But yeah, I'm really impressed with this truck. And again, if anyone's looking for something that's good at towing, I'm not a brand loyalist, and I'm trying to make whatever vehicle I get as honest as possible when I record them. So don't think I'm a brand loyalist, but, I see a lot of comments on YouTube saying, oh, that Tundra's a piece of crap or whatever. But I decided to try it. When I test drove all of them and whatever, and I had the opportunity of trailering loads with a bunch of them that friends or coworkers had, or if I worked for a company a few years ago, I had the opportunity to do a lot of driving in different various half tons and a couple 2500s, but the Tundra is a really good truck. I was really surprised at how solid it was. And I guess the conclusion is, as far as fuel, I know you guys want to know fuel economy still, but its unloaded fuel economy may be lower than the other trucks in its class, but the towing fuel economy, it's very efficient. I was surprised. I was expecting it to be low too, but it wasn't. So, when it works, it gets better fuel economy than the other trucks I have driven. And obviously all of them are not 18s. The Ford was a 16, the 5.0 I mentioned. My Ram was a 13 with the Hemi and 392 gears. And the 5.3 Chevy was I want to say, a 14. I think it was the first year they redid the 5.3 with 355 horsepower. But I think that thing was just geared too high. Or it's too high rev. I don't know. But enough with me rambling. Pretty much this Tundra got really good scores. If you were to average them up, I think that's like, 90 or 80, mid to high 80s at most. I don't have a calculator, but you guys can feel free to do that in the comments. But that's my scores. It got hit with the trailer brake controller for that, but really good truck. If you have any other questions for me, feel free to put them in the comments. And again, I'm sorry I messed up the original footage and only got certain clips of it done. And I guess I can do a short time lapse after this is done from other footage I got from it. It had no sound, so I had a little music to it. So again, thanks for subscribing,
And you all have a good day.